episode of A Shot with Ellie. Today I have somebody very special with me. I know I say this with every guest, but this person is very special. He's related to me and he is an expert in tequila. Oh my gosh, he has educated me so much these last few weeks on just tequila, the aromas, the flavors, tasting it, teaching me how to take a shot. It's been insane. But here with us tonight is Abel Mendoza, which, by the way, I learned something interesting about you today, that his name is not really Abel.
It's my middle name.
Abel is his middle name, and we've been cousins for like,
I don't know,
all of our lives. I don't want to say our age.
Yeah.
I was like, all of our life, and I just realized that that was not even his real name. Crazy, right?
It's my real name. It's just my middle name.
Well, I mean,
Well, like in Mexican culture, you have like first name, middle name, last name, secondary last name, the third or something. It's always so long.
that is true. He is going to educate us a little bit on tequila and how his career path that he's taken since last year, and just basically how he's gotten to where he is now. So before we start, we have our little tradition here going. We're gonna take a shot. I'm gonna take a shot. He's going to sip on his tequila, which, by the way, I am not advertising this or promoting it. I am not sponsored by this tequila at all. But god damn, this tequila is by far the best tequila I've had my whole life. And it's called Adán y Eva.
Yeah.
Tequila. Is reposado. It's 40% alcohol, but you cannot taste anything. And I'm like a shot person just because I don't like tasting the alcohol and the burning. I took a shot because I needed to kind of calm my nerves, and wow, I am speechless. So anyways, guys, cheer with us. Welcome to A Shot with Ellie. Salud. Cheers, cousin. Thank you. Wow.
No, it has a lot of flavor. You just have to train your palate to kind of know what you're looking for. But there's definitely a lot of vanilla, a lot of oak, caramels in there. You just have to.
It is really good.
Yeah, you just gotta train your palate a little bit.
I'm learning from the best here. So, after our shot, thank you for that. Tell me a little bit about yourself, your upbringing. How was your childhood growing up? Let me pause you before you start. The reason why I'm asking, there is a lot of things. Growing up, we were separated, I guess. His family lives in Central Cali.
Yeah.
My family lives here in Southern California, so it's about 4-hour drive, 4.5-hour drive.
Yeah.
And growing up, we had a lot of family events. However, as kids got older, the cousins got older, family kind of didn't get as close, right? Like
everybody kind of just did their own thing.
Everybody did their own thing. So there is a lot of history that I do not know about Abel, and he's willing to share with us here today. So how was your upbringing?
Well, growing up, I grew up in the Central Coast in a small beach town, which is completely different from South Central. I mean, it's night and day. It's a small town with the beach vibe. Like, everybody's really laid back, chill. Like, there's really no traffic to start off with, and it's just a whole different environment. Being predominantly Caucasian, there is like a Hispanic area, but it wasn't like the main like it is here in LA. LA is like Hispanic and Asian and so much diversity here. Over there was mostly Caucasian, so I kind of had to fit in with the white kids and kind of be that surfer vibe dude, but I was still growing up in a Hispanic house. Come home, frijoles and arroz and tortillas was the main dish every day. So it was different. It shaped me in some ways to who I am now. Just being able to communicate and talk with different diversities, and a lot of my friends are really white, and they're like, dude, I could never tell that you were 100% born in Mexico. And I'm like, yeah, 100% born in Mexico.
I feel like as we got older, I felt like you were more, I mean, I guess because of the upbringing, I felt like you were more whitewashed. I didn't want to say it,
Yeah.
but you were, it's a term that we use in our culture. We're not trying to
Like stereotype or nothing.
stereotype or anything. It's just, what we say.
It just kind of what it is, yeah.
I kind of like told you that a few times. I think you're like, oh gosh, you're so white because you grew up in a white neighborhood or whatever. But I feel like now that I know you better, you are as Mexican as they come.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with your knowledge with tequila, like I am just so surprised. Like, what made you love tequila? Let's start off there.
Well, I am Mexican. I love my culture 100%. And just the other day we were talking about this St. Patrick's Day, and I told you I don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Like to me, it has no meaning. I don't even know what they're celebrating. Good for them, whatever they're celebrating, but I don't know. And growing up, it was Cinco de Mayo, 16 de septiembre, and Dia de los Muertos. So other than that, I don't celebrate any. I mean, 4th of July I'll celebrate because I'm proud to live here in the United States. I'm proud to be Mexican American. But I mean, St. Patty's Day, no, it's not a thing for me. I love my culture, and tequila plays a huge role in it. I mean, it's what Mexicans bring to the table. Russia brings vodka. Irish bring their Irish whiskey. Bourbon is what Americans bring, and Mexicans bring tequila to the table, and it's right up there with the best vodkas and the best champagnes. It's a delicacy, and you kind of just have to, just like any spirit, you kind of just have to train your mouth and your palate to identify flavors and notes, and really enjoy what you're sipping on, not just shoot it.
That's what I do, guys. He's clowning on me. Or what made you decide, like, I love tequila and this is what...
I mean...
Like, at what age or what age did you start drinking? Because if you're like me, my mom, like, at, 12, 14, 13 years old, I was like, here, take a sip of beer. I'm like, oh, shit, okay,
Yeah, I think I started... I think the first time I got really, really, like, drunk was when I was 16. And that was all bad.
Was that to tequila?
It wasn't. It was to hypnotic. It was like hypnotic and Alizé. It was disgusting. It was the worst hangover ever, and I paid for it. My mom made sure that I paid for it. But I didn't get into tequila until maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I was always just like everybody else, Patron, Don Julio, Coralejo. Like that was just what I saw at the stores. That was the only thing that I knew. Little did I know there was a bottle just like this sitting right next to those bottles, but I wasn't gonna buy it because it wasn't Patron. It wasn't that high dollar stuff. This has so much more flavor, and it's so much more smoother, and just overall it's a smaller distillery, so you're supporting the Mexican culture over a big corporation like Patron. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So. I mean, I personally have gotten drunk to Patron. Now it's to the point where I can't even smell it, or I will throw up. That's how disgusting. Like, I cannot be near Patron.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing back. Patron, sponsor this. But I just can't. Like, the smell of it, I can't. But this, and even when I decided to name this podcast A Shot with Ellie, I was like, damn, how am I going to be taking shots of tequila, so frequently with my guests? I'm going to maybe hate it,
Yeah.
But I've kind of learned that I've tasted a lot of different tequilas where it's kind of making the love of tequila kind of grow in me.
Oh, there's so much to taste. There's just hundreds and hundreds and years and generations of master distillers, and every single small batch like this is unique in its own way. And you'll learn to identify and love it all.
Well, you yourself, you were telling me like all the steps that it takes to even make tequila, and I'm just sitting there at the table, just like listening to you, because you can just go and talk. Like in a nutshell, like what is it that how quickly can tequila grow? What's the best tequila? What is your favorite tequila?
Ooh, that's like asking me what my favorite kid is. It's a little one.
It's the smallest one that doesn't talk back
Yeah,
yet.
it's a little one. Well, there's just so many, but I think the one that really started my passion, that grew it into what it is now, and to like just acquire the bottles that I have now is Jose Cuervo, but not the Jose Cuervo, not the $10 Jose Cuervo that comes in a plastic bottle. No, it's the special Reserva de la Familia. So that flavor is unique, and once you taste it, it's mind blowing. And when I first tasted it, it got me to what else is out there. And I've tried hundreds of tequilas now, sipped on, and I've been to a lot of festivals, tequila festivals, and Jose Cuervo still sits among one of the best tequilas that I've tasted.
Wow.
And it's always going to be my go-to. I think I have 10, 12 bottles of different years at home in my bar.
He has an amazing bar. I have yet to go to his house. That's on my to-do list. But just when you posted on the internet and when you the videos that you've sent me,
Yeah.
his collection of tequila, you guys. I don't know how this guy's not sponsored by anybody.
Not yet.
Like, not yet. Seriously, because his tequila collection, I am impressed, and I showed it to one of my somebody close to me who is a tequila fanatic as well, and he was super impressed with your tequila collection.
Yeah,
So
that makes me feel good.
that says a lot, because this person is also like a huge tequila fanatic, just like yourself. Career-wise, how has the last 10 years been for you career-wise? Or how was your life, 10 years ago?
Well, my life 10 years ago is nothing what it is now. You know, my oldest is 11, but 10 years ago I was in a slump. I was in a horrible place in my life. Had been going through a lot of things, and I was an addict. I was addicted to meth, and it was the lowest point I've ever had in my life. Without my wife, I don't know where I would be, or if I would still be anything. It was that bad. But with her support, 10 years later, I mean, right now, I'm here, I'm loving life, I got a great career, have a home, my kids are all fed and healthy, and it's night and day for me from now to 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I didn't have a career. I didn't have a career.
Wow, you unleashed.
Yeah, I don't talk.
A big one on us here. So you said that you're an addict.
Yeah.
You're a recovering addict.
Yes.
11 years?
No, I'm 7 years sober.
7 years sober.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive. So let's cheer to that.
Oh, yeah.
What led you to get into drugs? Because, in our family, I don't think that, I think some relatives do weed,
Yeah.
but I think that's like as maybe coke once in a while,
Yeah.
but never meth or anything like beyond that. So what do you think led you to drugs?
Definitely it was all my decision. Nobody said, hey, try this and you're gonna love it. No, nobody said that. I was in a point in my life where I didn't know, because I didn't know how to overcome it or what to do at that point, because there was something new to me. It was a low that I didn't know how to deal with. And at the time, I just happened to be hanging out with people that were doing those drugs. And it was as easy as going and buying a beer. And then, one day became a week, and a week became a month. And the next thing I know, I'm rock bottom, neglecting my son, being the worst parent, not being able to. So one of my turning points was a day when it was really, really hot. It was a heat wave going on, and I had just spent my last $10 on drugs, and my son wanted a ice cream from the ice cream man, and I didn't have any money, and I was mad at him for asking me, and he was just sitting there by the window, sweat dripping down his head, and asking me, Dad, can I have one? I said, no, I don't have any money. I don't have any money. Stop asking me. After the come down, I started reflecting back on it. And now, even now, it hurts me. It's a pain that can never take away. But at the same time, I don't ever want to take it away because that pain keeps me going to succeed, to do more, to.
I'm sorry.
It's that pain. It's that pain that keeps my refrigerator stocked with ice cream all the time. Make sure that they're not worried about where their next meal's gonna come from. Even if it means they don't know what I do exactly for my work, and they don't see me for a long time, but they don't ever have to worry about being fed like I do that for them. But that was my turning point. That was one of my turning points was watching my kids suffer, and when it wasn't their fault, it was this was on me. So I was just with the wrong crowd. I was doing the wrong things and doing stupid mistakes.
But you completely turned your life around, which is fucking impressive. And I'm sorry, I am crying only because I'm very emotional. And I'm a parent myself, so just kind of like envisioning that, and just kind of breaks my heart because as a child, like I can relate to that, like asking my mom for money for like an ice cream, también like a paleta, and she couldn't afford it. So just kind of brings back those memories, and it's tough, like, but you were doing it because you were an addict. And my mom was because she was a single parent, not being able to afford it.
Yeah, the pain is there. Like, I think back, I'm sure she probably thinks back or reflects on it, and like she thinks about it, and it hurts her. It hurts me. Now that I'm able to do it for them, it hurts me to think that I ever did that, that I took that away from him. It's.
I'm sure he was so young, he probably doesn't remember.
He doesn't.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that with me. Like, honestly, you brought me to tears. Sorry guys, it's just like, it's a very sensitive topic, kids.
Yeah. It's
just like, as a parent, I'm just so vulnerable when it comes to that. Like, that's my weak spot. That's my weak spot. So cheers for sharing that with me, honestly, and with us, the audience. That takes a lot of balls, so, for lack of better words, guys. Yeah,
there's a lot of people that don't know that about me. For the most part, I had a pretty basic upbringing. My parents, my mom, my dad, they're great people, amazing people, and they did an amazing job raising 4 boys. I mean, they're just. I can't, we all grow up and we all make our own destiny and we all make our own decisions, and they did the best, and I'm very thankful for them. So my upbringing there's no reason why I did what I did, that was all on me. My parents, like I said, did an amazing job. They're great people. And
how did they find out? Did they try to like get you help?
No, actually I was really good at hiding it. Like, I was really good at hiding it. So when I met my wife, like, she had no idea that I was doing it because I wasn't as heavy as I am now. I was much skinnier, and so I really didn't. My weight didn't fluctuate. It stayed the same. I still managed to function, so it wasn't as obvious.
Wow.
Yeah. So my parents never found out. I'm sure they probably watch this or hear about it and.
Well, it's in English. I don't know that my tios speak English. I hope not right now.
No,
they understand it.
Yeah.
But so the turning point, as you mentioned, was your son.
My kids, yeah.
Your kids.
Yeah.
So what changed after that? Like, career-wise, what did you decide to do? What kind of jobs did you do? Did you go to school? Did you go to college?
Well, I did go do some college. So right after actually I dropped out when I was 16 and a half, 17. I dropped out. and I worked in a pharmacy. So I was a pharmacy tech, and that was a cool job. Like it was good money at the time. I was making good, better money than most guys working at McDonald's or Domino's. But I hated working behind a desk, like doing the same thing repetitive over and over. Counting pills all day was just a waste of time to me. I hated it. The money was fine, but I hated it. So then I got into construction, and I did construction for some time here and there, while still trying to live a long, a young life. Like I was young. I was like right after high school, like I said. Then my son was born, and then after that, continued with construction. Fast forward a little bit, I worked demolition, and so demolition was fun. It was cool. I got to break walls, and I got to see some really cool things like military launch pads. I worked for SpaceX out here in Vandenberg. I traveled all of California, and that kind of opened the door to what I do now.
Yeah.
And now I do rockfall protection. So now I travel the United States, anywhere from Hawaii to Alaska to Wisconsin, Wyoming. I mean, all of the continental United States, plus outside.
Okay, you said you do
Rockfall protection.
raw fall protection.
Rockfall,
Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
So
For those that don't know, I don't know. I'm pretty sure some people don't know.
So what I do is we reinforce mountains. I mean, as best as possible. Whenever there is a natural disaster, for example, when California is on fire, and what happens after a fire, all that debris loosens up, and then with the heavy rains, mudslides happen. So what we do is we go in there, we reinforce those possible areas that could get mudslides. With heavy netting, heavy duty netting, we drill with hydraulic drills into the mountain, depending on what the engineer requires, 15, 20, 25, 50 feet, whatever it is. And we reinforce it with some heavy duty netting. And we do this all over the United States. I mean, California, Alaska, we have a crew going to Alaska here in a couple of weeks. Hawaii, I was just in Montana, working there for 3 months, and I get to travel all the United States on a company's dime, and just see everything. I mean, just see things that I would never experience or see before if I was sitting behind a desk.
Right, and that is freaking amazing. I mean, you send videos of hanging and you're texting or like taking pictures, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, hold on to the damn rope, you're gonna fall. Like,
Yeah.
it takes a very daring individual to do what it is that you do, because I would be throwing up. Like,
No.
my stomach would not. I'm
No,
like
when
scared
I
of
first
heights.
started, I was like, my fat ass and that little rope, it's not gonna work out. But then it brings trust, and you have to trust that rope, and then it gives trust a whole new meaning. And now, I mean, you saw the videos. Now I'm just bouncing and doing flips and having some fun.
If you were my kid,
My mom freaks out. Freaks out.
I can only imagine my tia probably has,
Yeah.
her heart, como dicen en español, like her, el corazón en el cuello or something like that. It's a Mexican saying. I'm not that Mexican, guys.
Oh.
Give yourself advice 10 years ago, what would it be?
Oh, I mean, I could give myself all the advice, but 10 years ago, I don't think I would have listened. But, I mean, I just, it's so hard, because if it wasn't for whatever I did then, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. So 10 years ago, I was taking risks. I was doing the wrong things, but I was taking risks, and even now, as sober-minded, I'm still taking risks, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Definitely don't do drugs. That's what I would tell myself, don't do drugs.
That's great advice. Now that how did you, I know that there's people perhaps that have, experimented with drugs here. How did you get yourself out of that world?
Oh, my wife, 100%. Like I said, she's been my rock. She's been everything. If it wasn't for her,
did she help you? Did you go to counseling? Did you go to?
Oh, she chewed my ass out. Oh, she chewed my ass out and then gave me the biggest ultimatum. It's that or us. And I still hadn't been that lost, and I could still understand and give myself like, okay, I need my family. And so I wasn't that far gone where I lost my family. So she gave me that ultimatum, and I chose my family, and that's where I began my recovery.
How was that recovery? Can you walk us through that?
Uh, well, it wasn't easy because you always somehow end up hanging out with the same people that you were doing these drugs with, or you always end up somehow, you're walking to the grocery store, you somehow take a detour, and you end up at this person's house buying the wrong crap. It wasn't easy. It was a struggle, but yeah, it was a battle. And so far, I think I'm winning. I'm doing okay.
You're doing freaking amazing, honestly. Because I know, like, I've had friends who've been addicts, and it was hard. I've lost touch. I don't know, like, what happened to them, but they were pretty into it. I'm not sure what kind of drugs. I think it was crack. But it was still sad to see them, and honestly, for you to come out and share this with us, and you being alive here with us and healthy, which is the most important thing, because your family needs you.
Oh yeah.
And without you, like, now you have 3 kids. Before you only had 1,
Yeah.
now you have 3 kids and a wife that depend on you. So cheers, and thankful to God that you are here with us.
Yeah.
And sharing your knowledge of tequila. let's change the subject, guys.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm not trying to bring anybody down.
No, actually, this is very helpful, only because there's people out there that need help. Seek that help.
Yeah.
There are many programs out there that are willing to help. If you feel that you are an addict and you need help, reach out to your loved ones, reach out to anybody, reach out to me, to Abel. I'm gonna put his Instagram on there. He is like a walking miracle right now.
Yeah.
And he is somebody that will be able to relate to you. And we're not here to like talk you down or anything like that. We want to be motivation and help.
Yeah.
Most importantly, help. And I know it's difficult to ask for help. I think that's like you took the big step of knowing that you needed help, and that's admirable, because not a lot of people ask for help. And so I really do. I'm open. I don't even know what to say. I'm gonna edit this, but I'm very. I admire that.
Thank you.
I admire the fact that you were open, and the fact that you asked for help and you knew you needed the help and you took it. And so grateful for your wife.
Yeah.
I recently met her. Es un amor de mujer.
No.
Like, she's freaking amazing. Her kids are awesome. I mean, your guys' kids, not hers. Your guys' kids are awesome. I just met him like a few weeks ago, right? Like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And man, like, I call her cousin. I don't know if she likes it or not, but he's my cousin, so I just call her cousin. So now, the new and improved Abel.
Yeah.
What would be 3 words that you would use to describe yourself?
Outgoing, passionate, and caring.
Caring.
Yes.
Passionate about what?
Life. Yeah, it's everything. Everything I do is 100%. You're either all in or you're not. And I think it applies for relationships, your work, whatever hobby you're in, you're either all in or don't do it. And you just have to have passion for life and for everything that you're doing. Put passion into your work, put passion into your love life, put passion into everything, because that right there is, like I said before, I was doing bad, now I'm doing good, and it's all about doing everything 100 all the way, like nonstop.
You guys, You heard it from the man right here. If you had some advice to give our audience, what would it be?
Don't be scared. Do it. Do whatever you plan on doing. If you plan on opening up your own business, do it. Don't be scared to fail. You can only get better. Do whatever your heart desires. Just don't be scared to do what you want to do. Like, seriously.
I think that's what stops many of us.
Yeah.
Because we're afraid of what people might say. You're afraid to fail. You're afraid that things aren't going to go the way you wanted them to. But by you being afraid, you just kind of are putting a pause on everything.
You're just kind of just wasting time because you're not doing what you want to do. You're just kind of going with the flow and seeing what happens. Compared to where if you make that choice and that decision, you're getting momentum, and if there's friction there, and then you're gonna definitely end up being where you want to be, not just there.
True, very, very true. How did you get the position that you are in now? Was it through a hookup? Was it you applied? If people are interested in following the same career path that you are?
So, like I said, I was in construction for a long time, and I managed to move myself up in that ladder with that company. So, when I felt like I reached like the top of where I was gonna be at with that company, I felt like I needed to push myself more, and also financially, I needed to seek new horizons, look for new goals, and just start doing new things. And I ran into my wife's cousin, and I said, "Hey, are you guys hiring?" Because I knew what he did, and I would see all these really cool videos of him in Hawaii, all these cool videos of him just like hanging off on the side of a mountain, doing some crazy stuff, and like I'm like, dude, that's crazy, that's cool, like that's exciting. So I reached out to him and I asked him. He said, "Yeah, you know what? We might be looking for someone right now." And I had the experience, and it kind of just helped out, and I got in through a family member.
Did it take a few months? Did you get interviewed? How was that process?
With construction, you never know. And I walked in, I did my my application, and the receptionist said, "Well, I have the owner here, the owners of the company. You want to go in and talk to them?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess." I wasn't ready for it, and you know, respectable people, successful in their own way. And I walked over, introduced myself, and I told them a little bit about my background, and they're like, "Okay, when can you start?" I said, "Well, let me put in 2 weeks to my last company." And they're like, "Okay." And so that's kind of how it played out.
Oh, wow. What would you say is the most difficult part of your job?
It's mental, because I do travel so much. Being away from my wife and kids for months at a time is really mentally exhausting, and it puts a big like my kids will go a month and a half or 2 months without seeing me, and they're like, "Dad, when are we gonna see you again?" My wife, you know, she's being a single mother for pretty much for this extended periods of time, and I'm just.
Well, she's not a single mother,
No,
but
she's
she
not.
feels like a single mother.
Yeah, exactly. You know, because she's pretty much doing it on her own. And for me, you know, I get homesick, I get depressed. I start having, thoughts of like my kids. When am I gonna see them again? And there's points when you're doing something. For example, I was out in Montana in 20-degree weather, and it started snowing, and I'm freezing my ass off, and I'm thinking, what am I doing here? Like, I could be at home with my kids right now. What am I doing here? But as soon as I say that, and I think that, it's like, okay, I am doing this for my kids, because luckily they have food on the table, they have clothes on their back, they have a roof over their head. That's why I travel so far and do what I do. And that, I think, is like the hardest thing in my job, is just being away from my family for so long.
I would say I would have to agree with that, because we were talking out of cameras, and that was like the first thing that you said, just being away from your family. And I personally cannot imagine being away from my kid. I mean, as a mom.
Yeah.
But you have like I said, your biggest strength is your wife.
Oh,
Man, she is a boss. Natalie, do you want to come on this podcast?
She deserves to. She needs to. Yeah. No, you have no idea what she does. I mean, she on top of her 9 to 5 job, like she's still like hustling in every single way. I mean, this girl's a go-getter. Mad props to her. Everything. I mean, I owe everything to her. Damn, she's gonna see this already. So, but yeah, no, she's awesome. She's great.
She's like I told you, I just met her and man, I fell in love with her. She's a boss. She's badass, for lack of better words. But what is the best part about your job?
The traveling. I mean, it's my number one thing that I hate the most because I'm far away from my family. But I get to see some really cool things. Like, you've seen pictures of the scenery that I see on a regular basis. The way I see it, the places I get to travel, is not like your everyday, like going to the office. Like, I'm traveling multiple airports, seeing different cities, and in the next few weeks, I might either be going to Hawaii or Alaska. 2 very different places, but 2 very cool places I want to go spend some time in.
Have you ever been to any?
No.
Wow. No. So I'm jealous. I want to go to Hawaii. Don't take me to Alaska. I don't know that it's pretty cold out there. I like the warmth.
Oh, Hawaii. There's beaches out there. So
Hawaii. So when are we going to Hawaii? I'm kidding.
I'll let you know.
What does success mean to you?
Success to me has many different meanings. It could be wealth, it could be health, it could be whatever anybody wants it to be. To me, it means being able to provide. Being able to provide for my kids, my family, being able to let them know that everything's gonna be okay. That's success to me. And like I said before, I hit rock bottom and I wasn't able to provide. And that was definitely not successful to me. When my kids were hungry and I wasn't able to give them food, that was not successful. That was the opposite. That was me failing big time. So being able to provide, give my kids food and comfort, that's success for me. Being able to put food on the table without having to worry about the next meal.
And I think you've done a great job of that, quite frankly. Where do you see yourself like 10 years from now? What is your 10-year plan?
Having a home. Like, so right now I have a house, but a home, like a foundation for my generations to come. I want my kids and my grandkids to say, this is the house that Grandpa built. You know, Grandpa Abel, Grandma Natalie, like this is the house they built. This is the foundation, the safe spot for my grandkids to come home to. I want to have that within the next 10 years. And definitely traveling, seeing the world, sharing life experiences with my family. You know, if there's anything I am, is a father before anything else. And whatever I do, whatever I experience, I always want to bring my kids and my wife along, because that's my family, that's what drives me, and that's why I do what I do. So sharing, loving and traveling the world and having a big home for everybody to come and hang out, and that's where I see myself in 10 years.
Wow. Well, I don't think you're going to be a grandpa in 10 years.
I hope not.
So
the way, I hope not.
I was like, your kid is still pretty
No,
young.
I'm just saying, like, for future generations to come, you know.
Where do you see the tequila going for you? Because for those that don't know, let me just share a little thing. My cousin Abel, he just started his tequila Instagram account, right?
Yeah.
And you hit 200 followers in such a fast, rapid pace. I'm like, yeah. Can you like slow down here? You're making me look bad. Follow him on Instagram. His name, which very funny, is A Shot with Abel. Where do you see tequila going for you? Okay, let me rephrase that. What do you want from this tequila Instagram account that you created where you are speaking and being so open about your knowledge with tequila and sharing it with everybody else, where do you want that page to go to, or what is the next step for that?
Well, that page was created because my friends would, Abel, tell me this, tell me that, or what do you think about this? And we were all quarantining, and throughout this rough time, I didn't have nothing to do, so I was just at home with my tequila bottles, and I decided to do this page. But what I wanted to do was just, on top of sharing knowledge, hoping to where I can network and meet some people and maybe some investors, take a trip down to Tequila, go down to maybe one of the 5 regions of tequila where they make the tequila, and maybe someday starting my own brand, maybe starting my own tequila, a different journey from where I'm at now. Because even though I love what I do, tequila is something that can be done with family. And like I said before, family is everything. And if I could do this and share the passion with my kids and they fall in love with it, and I can continue to do it with them and grow a company with them, I mean, that's just a life goal right there.
Mendoza Tequila coming soon, guys.
Something, yeah.
I'm not kidding, but I don't think you're gonna name it Mendoza.
I mean, I don't know. There's so many names out there. I mean, I love tequila so much. I don't even know where. I mean, right now, just talking about it with you, I got my wheels turning right now, and I'm thinking, okay, wait, I really can do this. Yeah, and I'm going to.
Dude, put it on a vision board. I'm a huge fan about the universe talking to you. I don't know if you ever heard of The Secret, the book.
The law of attraction.
The law of attraction, yes. Yeah. So whatever you envision, put it on a vision board and look at it every day.
How do you think I got my wife?
Yeah. You envision her in your brain?
Yes.
You're funny. Natalie, you hear this guy? Natalie is his wife's name, by the way. Like a huge believer, the law of attraction. You attract whatever you envision. So I have my vision board, and I feel like, it's gonna happen. You just don't know, but the universe has things planned out for you. And if you envision opening up your own tequila distillery, or opening up if you want to grow agave, then, it's gonna happen. You just have to be patient and be a firm believer that it will, and your dream will come true.
Yeah. So that's one of the things and I'm so passionate, this. This is one of the things that I want to do with my tequila page is grow it, socialize, network, meet new people, and I mean, this is just throwing it out there, but maybe get a group of people and plan a trip down, just family and friends, down to Tequila, do some tequila tasting, hang out, spread the love, and just keep spreading the love of tequila. It's the culture is beautiful. It's an amazing thing. So there's 5 regions where you can produce tequila: Tamaulipas, Jalisco, Guanajuato, Nayarit, and the 5th one is always I don't remember the 5th one.
There's 5 guys. Google it. I'm sure you guys can figure it out.
Yeah. So there's 5 regions though, and Tequila, the city of Tequila, the town of Tequila, is where it was founded. If
you would say, what's your favorite tequila? You said earlier that it was
Jose Cuervo.
Jose Cuervo. What's your second favorite? Well, okay, actually no. Let's see. What's your least favorite tequila?
I don't even know, because I didn't keep that on my head. But there is one. There is one that I hated, that I just thought was awful. It was called Campeón, and it was rated so high, and it had all these awards and so on. And then as soon as I tasted it, it was awful. It was just like, ugh, that would have wasted money.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Campeón. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many things with tequila, though. I mean, just because I hated the way it tasted doesn't mean that it was a bad tequila. It just means that my palate did not like it. But maybe, the people who awarded it all those medals loved it, but it's just not for me.
How do you feel about all these, celebrities now creating their own tequila brands, and you've seen it on TV. I don't want to mention any names, but all these celebrities now are coming out with their own tequila. People that are not even, Mexican.
I hate it. Because, like I said, the Mexican culture is very proud of their tequila. Like I said, it's what we bring to the table. And when you have celebrities with millions and millions of dollars, and they're putting their name on tequila that is made at a distillery that just slaps a name on it, but doesn't produce it traditionally, and is ruining the culture and raising the prices on all the other mom and pop distilleries, it's bad for the industry. You're getting all these agave plants that have not fully matured, and you're throwing them into what they call a diffuser, and it's the size of a football field, and then you throw a bunch of immature agave that's not mature, and you throw it in there and you're cooking it, and then you add chemicals to it to give it that agave flavor, and it's what you're doing is you're taking away what's not ready from mom and pop distilleries that could use that agave for themselves to make things traditionally, make it right with no chemicals, no additives, no sweeteners, and you're raising the prices on their tequila, the good stuff. I'm saying, like,
I definitely agree with that.
The market's.
I understand what they're doing, but I just feel like celebrities should just stick with what they know and kind of just leave tequila.
If they wanna jump in there and then talk to one of these master distillers who are, own a mom and pop distillery, and endorse them and be like, look, check it out. Here's Germán González, or here's Carlos Camarena, or here's Felipe Camarena. All these names that you've never heard of before, but you've heard of The Rock. Why can't The Rock come over and be like, look, here's a good friend of mine, Carlos Camarena. Here's his product, El Tesoro. Check it out, you're gonna love it. Why not do that and help out instead of throwing your own tequila out there and just ruining it? Because it's not even that good. It's not good at all, actually. So.
Okay, guys. You heard it from the tequila master over here.
I'm not going to tell The Rock that.
The Rock is going to come and give you, what was that? The rock bottom?
Dude.
What was his?
I'm not going to tell him that. Not because I'm scared of him, because he's just a nice guy. So.
He's going to give you, what was his did you ever watch that, WWE? I grew up with that. I grew up with WWE because I grew up with brothers, and so I wasn't allowed to watch any girl stuff. It was always
rock bottom.
It was always
the people's elbow.
The people's elbow, and then like, do you smell what the Rock is cooking? Like, oh gosh, please don't censor me.
The eyebrow thing.
The eyebrow thing and all that. I grew up with that, guys. I was a super tomboy growing up. Like, I was a huge tomboy. But going back to this, one last advice that you have to give to us before we end this conversation, career-wise or just personal, on a personal level.
Just go for it. Don't stop. Keep doing what you want to do. Pursue it. Don't be scared to fail. And if you're gonna do it with passion, 100%.
I'll say. For those that are interested in pursuing your career, can you give us more or less a ballpark of, I know you've been working for this company for some time, but for a beginner person, what is more or less like salary wise?
I think entry level starts like around 80,000, and it could go all the way up into 180,000 or more. It just depends on how busy you want to be.
And you're traveling, you're getting to know, is it only within the United States, or do you guys also like go to different countries?
I don't know. I've heard rumors of like India and stuff, but those are just rumors, so I don't know. Right now it's just within the United States, but I'm talking every peak from Hawaii, Alaska to Maine, Tennessee, all over the United States.
So for those that are interested in following the same career path that Abel here is following, entry level, 80 grand a year, traveling the United States on somebody else's dime. I mean, who does not want this? Honestly, if I wasn't afraid of heights, I would probably be climbing out of one of those rows, but thank you, I kind of appreciate my life. But thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for opening up. Honestly, it's been, I think, one of my favorite interviews. I'm not trying to bash anybody else. I just loved all my interviews, but you totally blew my mind with everything that you shared with me today and our audience that are going to be listening to this. You share your knowledge of tequila, the passion and love that you have for your family, you know, everything that you've overcome, and you are here. You're, like I told you earlier, a walking miracle. You are somebody to look up to, an inspiration, and thank you once again for taking the time and joining me here.
Thank you.
We will be ending this. We're gonna cheer. Thank you guys for listening here, and you guys have yourself a great night.